so high. So it's again. So high. So it's again. So today we're going to do some Tai Chi based stretching. These stretches I learned from my teacher, but they come down from a Chinese Malay teacher called Master Lau Kim Hong. I don't know where he got the stretches from, but Lau Kim Hong is on the Chemanching lineage. He was a student of Lu Tangbo, who trained with Chemanching. Chemanching is one of the greatest Tai Chi masters of the last 100 years or so. Okay, so these stretches, they're in the Chemanching system. Okay, so as always, work to your capabilities. Don't go to the extreme if you're getting pain. We don't like extremes in Tai Chi. We are stretching a little bit more than we would when we're doing our Tai Chi forms or Qigong exercises, but don't go to extremes where you're damaging yourself, and try to train the whole body. Okay, so we're going to apply some breathing patterns to these stretches, so let's make sure we are breathing correctly. So I want you to place one hand onto your chest, the other hand onto your belly, either hand, and breathing in. You want to make sure that you're breathing into your lower abdomen, which you can't do, but imagine you're breathing into an area that's about 3 finger widths below the belly button and in the center of the body. Imagine you have a ball about the size of a golf ball, and as you breathe into it, feel it grow to about the size of your fist. And it's this ball inflating, growing in your belly that pushes your hand out, the hand on the belly out. You don't want a major rising or lifting and falling of the hand on your chest. Might get ever such a slight lifting and falling of the hand on the chest. Make sure it's not really pronounced, and definitely make sure that the shoulders are not moving with the rhythm of the breath. Really feel like you're breathing into that ball in the belly. You feel it pushing the hand on the belly out. But it's a ball, so you should feel it expanding in all directions. So you should feel it pushing towards your back as well. So take the hand off your chest and place it onto your lower back. Just the back of the hand. Don't struggle with the palm. And as you breathe in here, you want the hand on your belly, and now the hand on your back to rise with the in-breath. Breathing out, the hand on the belly, the hand on the back fall with the out-breath. Breathing in, the hand on the back doesn't rise or lift up as much as the hand on the belly. We want to feel the hand on the back moving with the breath. This is often overlooked. It's often called kidney breathing, this one. People say you need to breathe into the lower abdomen, and they kind of do this kind of thing, pushing the belly forwards, and this curves in the lower back and puts a lot of pressure onto the muscles in the lower back, the erector spinal muscles, and it really affects with the connectivity of your body as well. So breathing into the belly and breathing into the back. Nice deep abdominal breaths, activating the diaphragm, engaging the pelvic floor with your breath as well. Lowering your center of gravity, calming the mind. Okay, so try and do that breathing pattern as we go through these stretches. Okay, so Tai Chi Stance. We're standing with our feet about the same distance as our hips or our shoulders apart, feet parallel to each other. I've noticed when I do these stretches, and this was the first set of stretches that I ever learned and used to practice in my own time. I've got a lot of affection for these stretches. I was never given a specific name for these stretches. I was taught them in the Neigong system, what's called the Zhao Li Feng method in the Zongding school of Tai Chi. These stretches I was taught these accompanying the secret the secret training in Zongding Traditional Chinese Martial Arts Association. But these, as I said, these stretches come down from Master Lau Kim Hong. They're not part of the Zhao Li Feng system, and I am aware of them, not aware that they are part of that Neigong system. I believe they were added later. But anyway, I'm just starting to waffle anyway. Starting with your feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulder part, feet parallel to each other. I've noticed as I go through these stretches, my stance does tend to get wider. You can let that happen. Don't go too wide and don't go too narrow here. Okay, so we start. Feet hip distance, shoulder part parallel to each other. Imagine you have a long ponytail on the top of the head. Imagine your queue is tied up to the rafters. The pelvic area is tilted forwards, feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. And I just want you to take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. And then breathing in. Sink down to the heels, keep the pelvic area tilted forwards, breathing in, reach up. Imagine you're grabbing that ponytail on the top of the head, breathing in, and pulling yourself up onto your tiptoes. Pulling yourself up onto your tiptoes. Make sure the ribs don't flare out, the lower back doesn't curve in, just pulling yourself up onto your tiptoes. And breathing out, lower yourself down. Lowering yourself down. Keep the pelvic area tilted forwards, lowering yourself down, sinking down into the heels. Keep the feet flat on the floor. Then take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Breathing in, stretching up, and again imagine you're grabbing hold of a ponytail on the fontanelle area on the top of the head. Breathing in, pulling yourself up onto your tiptoes. Make sure your ribs don't flare out, the lower back doesn't curve in. Pulling yourself up onto your tiptoes. And breathing out, lowering yourself down. Keep the pelvic area tilted forwards, lowering yourself down. Lowering yourself down. Sinking down, sitting down. Breathing in. Left wrist, right hand. And I know I'm using my right hand here, but you can mirror me here. Breathing in, pulling yourself up onto your tiptoes, lengthening the spine like a string of pearls, perfectly in line, the pelvic area hanging down from that string of pearls. Then breathing out, lowering yourself down. Feel yourself stacking the vertebrae up one on top of each other, like you're building a pillar with your spine. Breathing out, coming down. Right wrist, left hand, breathing in, stretching up. I'm rolling from my heels towards my toes, so I'm pumping up through the body, pushing my arms into the air, grabbing that ponytail, pulling yourself into the air, lengthening the spine like a string of pearls, perfectly in line, breathing out, and lowering yourself down, stacking the vertebrae up, like you're building a pillar with your spine. Lowering yourself down, a nice stable foundation. Left wrist, right hand, breathing in, stretching up, grabbing that ponytail, pulling yourself up, lengthening, really lengthening the whole of the body, pulling yourself up and breathing out, lowering yourself down, stacking the skeleton up as you lower yourself down. Right wrist, left hand, breathing in, nice deep abdominal breaths, grabbing hold of the ponytail on the top of the head and pulling yourself onto your tiptoes, lengthening, pelvic area hanging down, and breathing out, just lower yourself down, stacking the bones up on top of each other, lowering yourself down. Okay, same start as the last exercise. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand, breathing in, turn to your left, breathing in and coming over, sinking down into your right leg, keep the knee in line with the toes, pulling over, stretching all up the left side of your body, then look up at your left elbow in the air. And breathing out, bring yourself up. Really be careful if you do have any problems with your back or with your spine. You're lengthening the bands of connective tissue on the sides of the body there in the anatomy trains. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, breathing in, coming over, circling over, sinking down into your left leg. Keep the knee in line with the toes, sit down to the heel, look up at the elbow in the air, stretching all of the side of the body here. When breathing out, feel that stretch, contracting back, helping to pull yourself back to an upright position. Left wrist, right hand, circling up. Feel I'm sinking down, I'm pumping out of that foot, so rolling from the heel to the toe, pushing up through the body, lengthening, pulling the arm ever so slightly, looking up at the elbow, make sure you're not sticking the chest or the ribs out, curving in the lower back, and breathing out, feel the body contracting back. Right wrist, left hand, sink into that right leg, breathing in, pump over, sink down to the left leg, compress that left leg against the ground, stretching all the right side of your body, looking up at the elbow, and breathing out, bringing yourself over. Release that compression from the left side of the body, feel the right side of the body contracting back. Left wrist, right hand, breathing in, circling over, breathing in, stretching, sink the ribs, feel the back, knee in line with the toes, looking up at the elbow, breathing out, feel the body contracting back. And right wrist, left hand, breathing in, circling over, sinking down into the left leg, keep the knee in line with the toes, more weight towards the heel, lengthening all the right side of the body, look up at the elbow, and breathing out, bring yourself back. Upright position. Okay, interlace your fingers. So there's very few times in Tai Chi you'll be asked to straighten your legs. This is one of the very few times, okay? We do it twice through these stretches. Be careful if you do have any problems with the knees. Okay, interlace your fingers, sit down into the heels, keep the pelvic area tilted forward, bring the hands up, turn it over, breathing in, push forward with the hands, and then straighten the legs, sink the ribs to feel the back. You should feel this all at the back of the body. You shouldn't feel it really all in the lower back here. Feel it at the back of the legs. Up and breathing out, sit down to the heels, keep the pelvic area tilted forward, bring yourself up to an upright position. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, breathing in through the nose to the lower abdomen, breathing in. Sitting down, pump from the heels towards the toes, push up through the body. Try and get the upper body so it's parallel to the floor, straighten the legs. So you feel all the way up the back of the body, up the superficial back line. And breathing out, sit down into the heels, keep the knees along the toes, pelvic area tilted forwards, bring yourself back up to an upright position. Breathing in, sit down, push forwards, keep the knees along the toes, straighten the legs. Feel this all the way up the back of the body, all the way. And breathing out, sit down into the heels, bring yourself up to an upright position. Head is suspended from above. Okay, arms down at the side of the body here. Okay, I want you to drop the weight of the body onto your left leg. And breathing in, turn your waist around to your right, sink down to this leg, keep the knee in line with the toes, sit down to the heels, turn around, and try to look down at the heel of that supporting foot. Breathing out, bring yourself back to the center, drop the weight of the body down through your right leg. Breathing in, turn around to your left, sink the ribs, feel the back, sinking down. Feel as if you're screwing that supporting foot down into the ground, and look down at the heel of that supporting foot. Make sure there's more weight towards the heel of that supporting foot. Breathing out back to the center, sink the chest, round the back, breathing in, turning around. Feel this rotation going all the way up through the body, and looking down at the heel. Breathing out, come back up. Breathing in, Sinking down, spiraling, looking down at the heel, breathing out, bring yourself back up. Lift off the left leg, breathing in, turn around to your right. Sinking down, compressing the body down, rotating, looking down. You really feel all the connective tissue kind of being lengthened as you sink down, so relax the muscles as much as you can. Turning up, spiral, working with those spiral lines and the functional lines in the body, the anatomy trains. Okay, back to the center. So I tend to do it, as I said in previous films, I don't tend to count the repetitions I do of my Qigong or my stretches. In this one, I always do a minimum of 3 repetitions on each one of the moves here. So if I feel like I need a bit more of a stretch on some of them, I'll do more, but I'll do a minimum of 3. Okay, this one we're going to do a backward stretch here. Be careful if you do have any problems with the back or the neck here. Keep the feet flat on the floor as we go through this, and make sure you do go straight back here. Head as if suspended from above. Moving, really feel like you're moving from your center, moving from that ball in the belly, that area about 3 fingers below the belly button, and in the center of the body. Breathing in. Push down through the heels, roll up through the body, like you're doing a backward dive here. Breathing in, going back. Breathing in. And breathing out, bring yourself back up. I tense my abdominal muscles, the pelvic floor and everything, all the muscles around here to support my lower back as I bring myself up, and as I go backwards there as well. I strengthen my core and my deep frontal line. Okay, sink down to the heels, roll from the heels towards the toe, breathing in, going straight back. Straight back here, looking to your capabilities. Breathing in, breathing out, tense buttocks, abdominal muscles to bring yourself back up. Breathing out, your arms float down. Try to make sure you're going straight back and straight forwards here. Breathing in, diving backwards. Jumping, diving backwards, or like jumping and diving backwards. Breathing in, and breathing out, bring yourself over. Tense the abdominal muscles, the buttocks. And breathing out, all hail, Tai Chi. Okay, so I check that your feet are about the same distance as the hips and your shoulders, but see if you can do this without looking down as well. Feet flat on the floor, hip distance, shoulder apart. We're going to, again, straighten the legs out in this one, so do be careful if you do have any problems with the knees. And that's not a habit you want to get into in Tai Chi. As I said, there's very few times in Tai Chi you'll be straightening legs. This is one of those. We're going to do a downward stretch here, so again, be careful if you have any problems with the back. Breathing in, bring yourself up. Straighten the legs, and breathing out, pushing down. Moving from your center, pushing towards the ground. Sink the ribs to fill the back. Pushing towards the ground, stretching down, stretching down. And then bend the knees, breathing in, and bring yourself back up. Let the palms facing up towards you. Keep the knees on arms and toes, keep the pelvic area tilted forward, bring yourself back up. Breathing in, and breathing out. Run your arms down. Breathing in, straightening the legs. Breathing out, push down towards the ground, moving from your center. Feel the stretch moving up the back of the body, pushing down. And you can come up the way that you went down, or you can bend the knees and just let the arms and the head hang. Put your mind at the base of the spine and start to build the spine up, like you're building a pillar with each part of your spine. Stacking them up. I believe this is, it's from yoga, they call it the ragdoll, I think. Quote me on that, I'm not an expert on yoga. Breathing in. Tongue onto the roof of the mouth, just behind the front teeth. And as you go down here, I want you to do you want to make the sound, relax your arms down, you want to make the sound of like a balloon deflating as you go down here. So breathing in, come up, straighten the legs, breathing out. Come up the way, just like explain like the ragdoll, or you can come up. Bring yourself up. Breathing out. So that's it. Just six stretches. Really nice set of stretches. As I said, it's the first set of stretches that I ever learned and practiced. Yeah, I really like these stretches. So I always like to finish stretches with a bit of a waist turning or just something to loosen up, so that make sure there's no residual tension left in the body. So let's start with the feet about the same distance, the hips and shoulder apart, feet parallel to each other, and just turn your waist. Turning the waist. Hips open or closed when the legs are at its fullest. It doesn't really matter too much in this one. As I've been into quite a lot of detail with these waist turning exercises in previous films. I'll put a link up here if you're really interested in these. Just turning the waist. Let your arms swing around your body. You can make your hands into hollow fists here. Hollow fists, and give the lower back a nice massage as you're turning here. Turning. Floating across the hips. Just turning, just loosen up the body, sinking down into the supporting legs, loosening up. Okay, and do that for as long as you like. Okay, so that's my film for today. So practice it or don't. Okay, but I'm just starting to waffle now. So I will see you in the next film. So I bid you a good day. Good day. Good day.